What's going on, world? Eric Lawton here from Purebred Canines. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, consider giving this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more free content. So, you're thinking about getting a dog, but you're not quite sure whether you should buy from a breeder or adopt from a shelter. Let's take a look at a brief list of pros and cons for both options. The pros of going to a shelter for a dog are pretty obvious. Number one, you're saving a life. 670,000 dogs are put down per year according to the ASPCA, and that's in the United States alone. A dog's days in the shelter are limited. Number two, you will be helping with the overpopulation problem that many shelters have. Number three, the dog will already be up to date on vaccinations and will likely be spayed or neutered before you bring him home. Now let's take a look at the cons of adopting from a shelter. Number one, you don't know this dog's backstory. This dog could be aggressive towards animals, people, or even sometimes children. If you are considering adopting a shelter dog, remember to carefully test the dog for any aggressive behavior. Number two, you don't know this dog's genetic background. This dog might be the offspring of specimens who suffer from extreme and possibly genetic health problems, which can lead to costly vet visits down the road. Number three, if this is an adult dog, you have to consider the possibility that it's already developed bad habits, which can be harder to break the older the dog gets. Now, I'm sure there's more that we could add to this list, but I wanted to keep this video short and right to the point. Now, let's take a look at the pros and cons of buying from a breeder. Number one, if you're looking for a purebred dog and you contact a good and respectable breeder, you can be sure you're going to get your money's worth. Number two, you'll receive paperwork showing the dog's pedigree, and it will usually come with some kind of health guarantee along with vaccination records. As long as both parents have been health tested, your dog has a really good chance of living a long and healthy life. Number three, your dog might be eligible to compete in kennel club shows or competitions. Number four, if that dog passes all pre-breeding tests and excels at something its breed is known for, you might consider breeding the dog. But that's another story. I have a video talking about the do's and don'ts of breeding and whether or not breeding is right for you. I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, let's take a look at the cons of shopping for a purebred dog. Number one is obvious. You're contributing to the production of more dogs. This can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Number two, some breeders are very shady, and these types of breeders are only focused on the dollar and could care less about the betterment of the breed. Some of these breeders even use false paperwork to sell what you think is a top quality dog, but then down the road, if you challenge the dog's DNA, you might find out that the dog you bought isn't even related to the dogs on the pedigree paperwork. That's no fun. So stay away from these types of breeders. Three, purebreds can be expensive. The price usually starts at around $1,500 all the way up to $15,000 and even higher. That, along with vet bills, dog food, and dog supplies over the span of the dog's life adds up tremendously. Okay, so now that we've briefly covered some of the pros and cons, let me give you my take on things. If you're a first-time dog owner or you're buying a dog for the family for Christmas, I would go with a shelter dog, because the idea of saving a life and adding a new family member to your household is just dope all the way around. If you're an experienced dog owner and you want something very specific, you're most likely going to shop around for a breeder, but check your shelter first. You might get lucky and find exactly what you're looking for. If what you want is a home protection dog, I'm going to cover that in another video because the topic is way more complicated than one might think. I guess that about wraps it up. I just wanted to give you guys a few things to think about when adding a new member to your pack. Check out PurebredCanines.com for updates and free downloadable content. Also, for all you creators, filmmakers, artists, and so on, if you enjoyed the music in this video and you would like to use it for your project, head on over to my music channel, Cell12 Music. All feedback is appreciated. I'll also leave a link in the description for my Teespring store so you can check out my t-shirts, hoodies, and so on. I feel like I almost have all this memorized at this point. I'll see you guys next time. I love you all. God bless.